Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to our biomechanics of the jab. So my name is Gu, and together with Hong Yang, today we will be analyzing the jab. So what is the jab? So in boxing, Muay Thai, and striking martial arts in general, jab is a quick straight punch from the lead hand. So we usually use this to control the distance, set up for other punches and combos, and to score points. Okay, and for the sake of simplicity, I'm going to break the jab into three components. First, we have the stance, so the preparation phase. Then we have the execution phase, and then finally is the recovery. Okay, first our friend Hong Yang will be talking about the planes of motions of the jab.
Okay, today I'm going to talk about the plane of motion in boxing. Like in this video, when I'm facing him on the left side or the right side, this guy's punches are more in the sagittal plane with his body and his arms and his feet. But when I'm looking him up top down, it's more in the transverse plane because when I'm looking at him from up down, there's a sign of rotation in his body. Then when he's facing me, we can see that he will move from the side to the side. This is boxing in the plane of motion.
Okay, thank you, Richard, for your part. So now we know that the jab is not just a singular plane of motions; it is a mix of all of them. So now the second point I would like to talk about is the kinetic chain and force summation of the jab. So in simple terms, kinetic chain is the coordination of the body parts to produce a movement, and force summation is the combination of forces produced by the parts of the human body. Okay, let's have a look at the jab. So now I'm in the stance, and as I prepare to punch, I push off from my back leg, which creates a reaction force that pushes me up, and this combined with the forward motion creates some momentum. So if you look, my front foot is also preparing to move forward, as well as my arms begin to extend, and my torso at the same time is rotating as well. So force is transferring from my foot to my leg to my hip and my torso, and from here it's being shifted towards to my shoulders, my arms as it is being extended, and finally at the end it's transferred to the wrist. Right, so at this point, my front leg is I'm heavy on my front leg, and now I just shift back. So from my front leg I push down, and I go back to my stance. Okay, and the next three principles I want to talk about is equilibrium, stability, and balance. Right. So equilibrium is the state in which net force or net torque is zero, so the body is in motionless or in constant motion. Stability is the ability to resist the disruption of equilibrium. So in general terms, more stability makes it harder to move or change position, and vice versa. And finally, balance is the ability to control equilibrium. Okay, let's have a look at the jab again. So here I am in my stance preparing to throw. So at this point, my center of gravity is on the rear leg, the back leg. But if you look on my front foot, I am not very grounded, but instead I am quite light on it. So this ensures I have enough stability to move and change position quickly, but also to maintain my composure and balance. And as we proceed, now my weight has shifted towards the front. Uh, but because due to the momentum from the pushing forward and the extension of the arms, shoulders, and wrists, I have to be able to control myself to not throw myself forward too much or of balance. And then from here, I push from the front leg back to my stance. And the last part I want to talk about is the muscle and joint actions. Right, so first let's have a look at the back leg. So here I am preparing to jump, I was preparing to punch, and as I punch, there is a bit of plantar flexion. So my calves are uh, concentrically active, and as I execute and I land my back leg, there's a bit of knee flexion. However, my quads are uh, actively eccentrically contracting to control the knee flexion. Make sure that my leg doesn't collapse. Okay, so now let's look at the front leg. So for my jab, I like to go out a bit so there is a bit of hip abduction. So mainly some of the muscle in the glutes are actively contracting. And again, as I land my foot, there's some knee flexion and it's also eccentrically contracting to prevent the knee from collapsing. And then I push back, so there's a bit of knee extension, so the quads are pushing my leg up and moving back to my stance. Okay, so now let's look at the lead hand. So as I begin to punch, there would be a bit of shoulder flexion, sort of frontal deltoids are working concentrically, and then my elbows is extending, so the triceps are working as well. And there, at the end, there is some wrist flexion to make sure I hit with both my knuckles. So a bit of wrist flexors are involved as well. And as I retract my arm, there is shoulder extension. So the deltoids, especially the rear deltoids and some of the lats are helping as well. And elbow flexion, so the biceps are also contracting. However, some people say that the lats also contribute in stabilizing your body as well. And finally, we look at the backhand and the hip. So as I punch my backhand, there's some shoulder flexion and elbow flexion to bring my hand up to defend my face. And if you look at the hip, there's some rotation to help generate torque to create a fast and powerful jab. And then after that, everything relax and return to the stance. So in conclusion, in this presentation, we talked about the planes of motions of the jab, its kinetic chain and force summation, equilibrium, stability and balance, and the muscle and joint actions of the jab. So this is the end of our presentation. Thank you for watching and goodbye.